Scanning for audio.
Welcome once again to the Summer of Blake 7 Volume 2. Yes, there will be Doctor Who reviews dotted throughout this whole summer, but last year's relaxing, let's all sit down and watch Blake 7, well, that went down so well and had such positive feedback that I thought I'd do it again. I might even do it every summer. Yes, we can all gather round, dig out our old DVDs, and just, plain well, enjoy the hell out of old 70s and 80s sci-fi. Join me over 13 podcasts this summer and we'll just chat about how utterly fabulous Blake 7 is. Starting with this particular story, Redemption. Ah, yes. The everyday story of cliffhanger folk. Now, for those of you who are a little bit behind, Series 1 of Blake 7 introduced us to a series of approximately 7, possibly 9 characters, all fighting for a just cause, apparently. It's kind of Robin Hood in space, or say the Dirty Dozen, except of course it's not. It's got massive, slathered areas of Terry Nation-ness. But again, don't let that put you off. They're on board the fantastic spaceship called the Liberator, a spaceship of alien design. And they've just taken ownership of a rather smart little computer that seems to work on the same principles as the internet, except of course it can interrogate other creatures. Orac. Well, other computers. Anything with one of ENSO's chips in it. And yes, as you remember, we've been particularly spoilt by the high quality output from Big Finish, but that's not what we're discussing here now. No, we're discussing the original TV series. It's the back end of the 70s. The 80s is just around the corner coming to get you. And we were left at the end of the last series with a cliffhanger. Oh yeah. And of course, sometimes on TV you get Previously On. Well, Previously On is actually part of this episode, because Orac gave a prediction that the Liberator, or a ship that looked just like the Liberator, would explode. And of course Avon manages to figure this one out by looking in the background and looking at the star pattern and going, well, as long as we don't go near there, we're all going to be fine. And of course, your plot manages to split nicely into two halves. The first part is the mysterious attack on the Liberator being taken over. You see, for me, the title Redemption means paying off what you owe, means payment for sins, almost an apology. But it also means returning old bottles to the shop for 5 pence. Yes, you can spot my age, can't you? Kind of recycling, only you get cash for it. That's what redemption means here, reclaiming what was previously your own. Of course, Orac's read the script and knows exactly how it ends, which is how come he can show you what's going to happen. But of course he won't tell you any more, because if he does tell you some more, well, that's going to spoil everything and change the outcome. Now, you should realise by this point that Orac's got a lot of, the ability to look after himself. So if he made some prediction that involved him dying horribly, well, he'd probably sort of nudge you in the right direction in order to save things. So he knows he's going to be all right. But of course nobody else, including Avon, has figured that one out. And so the story bumbles on its merry way. The spaceship's attacked. It's taken to Space World, which consists of 2 very specific areas. First one, the inside of an atomic power station, which, given the nature of radiation and the way that it affects film, and the fact that it's filmed on 16mm film, gives you a lot of hope for the British nuclear industry, because if they were using 16mm film, which they were, and there was a radiation leak, the film itself would have been fogged and unusable. But of course it was perfectly fine, which means we've got very good safety in our late 1970s atomic reactors. Yeah, moving on. And of course the rest of this incredible futuristic world that appears to be made of gold pipes, well, that's just one set. There are women sprayed basically a bit silver, wearing jumpsuits that look though so they've come from the end of a series run where they've got no money left rather than the beginning, and they're all linked into the system. Yes, there's only one underling, one slave worker in order to give, well, enough backplot and then get killed just so you can get him out of the way. Basically, he's the person to tell, not show what's going on. Very Terry Nation. But it's the sort of amount of writing that's required. It doesn't need overly explaining. You just need someone to go, yes, we're all slaves. Yes, their ruling powers are involved in some sort of plugged into computer technology. And yes, it's all linked together for the system. And so on and so on. So you don't need anything beyond that. So that's fine. So what do you have? You've then got the escape and you've got the ending. And I'm not going to spoil it because it's important. It's actually quite a cool payoff. Everybody has a laugh and then Blake says, let's go back to Earth. And Avon's like, is that our only option, going back to Earth to take the fight back to the Federation? No, it's not. There's an entire galaxy that they could investigate. It's a big place. You could get very lost. Perhaps that's not what he wants. But this is the beginning of Avon coming to the fore and going, actually, Blake, you're a pain. No. Many of the stories that take place with Big Finish happen within this season. And it's worth noting that this is a very important part of an arc. Avon standing up to Blake, lots of witticisms, lots of banter, lots of cutting remarks. There's even some great Avonness, but of course Gan's badly served, and Gan will continue to be badly served throughout this whole series. No, we'll get to that later. A great start, yes. A great programme, I'll grant you that. But, I don't know, is it let down by the design? I'd hate to be the person to say yes. That's just not my area of expertise. I'll leave you and speak to you soon, either about Blake 7 or Doctor Who. But either way, be seeing you. On the 3rd of September 2016, Hooverville 8 will be with us. Possibly the friendliest convention in the whole of the UK. This year's guests include, but are not limited to, Kai Owen from Torchwood, Michael Jason from Doctor Who, the Valeyard himself, Katie Manning, Joe Grant, Eric Sayward, Sophie Aldred, good old Ace, and Matthew Dale. For more information and to book your ticket, visit the Derby Quad website, www.derbyquad.co.uk, derbyquad.co.uk. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.